Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today's October 18th, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, starting out early this morning, 2:30 a.m. South African time, we had out of Australia employment change numbers coming out, rallied the Aussie dollar. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And then later this morning at 10:30 South African time, out of United Kingdom, retail sales numbers coming out. Not sure that that's really an important number. It's categorized as an important number, but you do want to know that those numbers are coming out. And lastly, out of Europe, the economic summit is actually happening the second day out of 2 days. So that's going to obviously affect the euro. We'll take a look at that as well. Just a couple of points before we start doing our work on the charts is number one, the dollar is getting stronger. Okay, euro and the GBP are down. Aussie just rallied this morning, but as a whole, the dollar is getting stronger. Now, the indices retraced a little bit, including the Dow Jones yesterday, selling off about 100 points from our major rally of 700 points the previous day. So the question is that was the rally a short squeeze? Okay, which means that after a major sell-off, there's a little bit of a small bounce, okay, relatively, and then there's another sell-off. So the question is that are we going to have another sell-off, okay, at this stage in the indices? And then lastly, oil sells off sharply, but gold is flat. We had mentioned earlier that oil was going to look like it was going to sell off, and indeed it did. Mostly contributing to the factor is that oil inventories are steady and they don't expect anything unnatural coming into the next couple of months. So let's take a look at the markets and see what's been happening. So looking at here at the Euro USD, this is almost a layup. I mean, we had this double top up here and then, a massive nosedive all the way down from 116 down to the 114.97-ish level. It's a 100 pip move, okay, altogether. But, it didn't really give you any space to really, catch up to it in terms of any sort of bounces. It just seemed like it just fell out of bed, and we fell out of bed with passing the moving averages. Okay, yesterday, last night, we actually had a webinar, and some of the clients asked me, why do I have this moving average? And the moving averages are really very indicative of letting you know when there's a breakout. Okay, and sure enough, right here, when we moved below the 30-day and then the 14-day moving average, we just broke it. That's an indication to jump in on the short side. Now we're flattening off right here at this 114.97-ish level. 114.70 is the next really support level. So we may see ourselves consolidating here, so just keep aware of it. Okay, now GBP USD also sliding quite sharply back down to the 130 area, and indeed you did have the fill the gap. You just had a little bit more of a rally there, coming all the way up to the 130, 132 area and then selling off sharply to 130.95. Now, we're closing in also on the next support level is really 130.23-ish level. So we still have some way to go on the downside here, okay? But we may consolidate here just again because, looking across the board, several other currencies are at support level versus the dollar. Now, jumping into the Aussie dollar this morning, this is a daily graph, and just be aware of the fact that we rallied a little bit over here, we bounced a little bit, but we're still in a downwards trend. Okay, there's nothing really to write home about in terms of are we going to consolidate here? But as long as we don't break this area on the top side, okay, this channel, all right, we're going to continue this downwards sell-off. Okay, so as we get closer to the resistance line here to the downwards trend line, you'll be looking to actually short it. Now jumping into gold, really flat, 122. I would have thought that we were going to sell off here. We didn't. And suffice it to say, maybe the market will indeed sell off the Dow Jones, okay? So looking at oil as well, we broke down to the 69-ish area, down from our 75-77 high. So that's a nice major retracement. We're coming close to a support level of 69.14. So as long as we don't break that, we may see ourselves just trading between this $72-ish level and 69-ish level for some time. So just be aware of that, as the market likes some steadiness in the commodities. Now jumping into the Dow Jones, this is what I'm talking about. We're looking at a daily chart here. We had this massive sell-off, as we spoke about, 2,000 points. We bounced. This is the bounce at our resistance level at 25,795. Now we're selling off a little bit, 25,644. So the question is are we going to have this continued sell-off here and test these lows again? or are we going to bounce even higher just as a correctional move? Now we are going into the earnings season. Okay, several companies are already starting to produce their company earning reports, okay, for the quarter. So we're getting into, territory. If, there's good news out there and there's good sentiment, then we may rally, okay, vice versa also, okay. So just be aware of it and just have to really keep your eye on some of the major stocks to see if they're breaking down for any, kind of leading indicator to give you some indication of about which way the market's going to be going. Okay, suffice it to say, we do have resistance here at 25,795, and we are down 100 points here. So if we do continue seeing the sell-off, this can capitulate down back to the bottom. Okay, so just be aware of that. Now looking at the JSE, dead. Okay, we're looking at a weekly chart calendar, a weekly graph, and it's breaking down. It's breaking down quite sharply now. Anytime you have this type of increased volatility, it either means that you're going to have some sort of consolidation right here, or you're going to have further breakout on the downside. So just be aware of that. And looking at a weekly chart, it's not very encouraging. Okay, that is a major retracement for the JSC. So we may see additional sell-off pressure there. Now looking at the DAX, it doesn't look like it's much of a sell-off. So just be aware of that and just compare the two indices just to make sure that you have some sort of leading indicator to give you some indication about which way we're going. Now, the stocks are trading with the indices. If we look at Apple retraced a little bit yesterday from 222 down to 220, but that's, it's trading together with the market, okay? So you like to see that, but anytime you see some sort of character change between the stocks to the indices or indices to the stock, that's normally an indication where the market's going to start going in a different direction, and you might want to not fight that direction and just lead that way and see which one's the leading indicator. So just be aware of that as today continues to trade. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.